Hello and welcome back to the Joint Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. We're going to have another game here of the best of two series between the Houses Down and No Earthspirit. As far as Game 1 is concerned, I think pretty much all that needs to be said is Meepo, because Jubilu, he was, I don't know, explosive on that hero, and his supporting squad was also working really well with him. The Invoker as well as Shadow Shaman got themselves a really early tier 3 as well as range barracks and ended up getting the full lane at 20 minutes, and the Houses Down just walked all over No Earthspirit, it felt. Even though the kill score wasn't that far away, it felt like a very dominating performance from the Houses Down, and I wouldn't be surprised to see No Earthspirit ban out the Meepo in the second picking stage. I don't think we're going to see another Meepo. As much as it pains me to say that, I want to see Jubilu play that again. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But No Earthspirit, instead of banning out the Meepo, they'll pick up a hero that's really good up against him. They'll take up the Earthshaker, and picking a Meepo up in the Earthshaker is asking for a little bit of trouble, as Echo Slam with all of those Meepo units can really sting. So, I don't know, it's already a good pick when you're going up against a Meepo, and just as a standalone pick, a really solid one at that. A really good support, played either defensively or aggressively. You can't really go wrong with the Earthshaker. You can babysit really well, offering those defensive fissures, but on the downside, Earthshaker is quite possibly one of the slowest farming supports and can't back off into the jungle. Like his Sand King brother over there, they can get up really fast Blink Dagger with Sandstorm jungling. So Earthshaker, for that reason, might fall behind quite a bit, but even if he is behind, Fissure is always a great spell. We're going to see an Invoker yet again from the Houses Down. Most teams, I wouldn't say, would first pick the Invoker, but for the Houses Down, I definitely think this is a pretty solid opener. They have the Scarlet Mage if they want to go for it as well, but they could also go for the Faceless Void. He's been ignored, and I think Invoker Faceless Void is probably the best opener if you're going to incorporate an Invoker into your team here. As a setup for Deafening Blast Meteor is pretty good, and Sunstrike's on top of that. It's a lot of damage to pump into that Chronosphere, which is really the big issue that you look at when you see a Faceless Void on a team, is how are we going to kill people once we get them stuck inside the bubble? Instead, they go for the Vengeful Spirit here. I love Vengeful Spirit as a support, but I think passing up the Void is a little bit too good to be true. Maybe they're just not accustomed to playing with Void because he's banned out so much. The Houses Down, they pick themselves up a pretty solid support, especially on the dire side. Vengeful Spirit offers pretty easy access to Roshan Pit with her Howl minus armor, as well as the Vengeful Spirit aura. And, well, a little bit of a lore story coming out here in this game is No Earthspirit picked themselves up the Skywrath Mage. No big surprises, they're a really solid all-around hero. His silence is really strong, being able to amplify that magic damage as well. If you get the Ancient Seal on somebody with a Skywrath Mage ulti as well as an Echo Slam on multiple units, that person is pretty much dead. I don't think there's really any other way to put it, as if the Invoker gets silenced up and then they drop the hammer on him, Invoker is going to be blown up before he even has time to react.
Radiance banned.
Not a chance. Brewmaster banned out by the Houses Down. Also, pretty par for the course, Beastmaster Chen banned out from No Earthspirit, surprisingly. I don't know, this is something that I was not expecting to see banned out, but yeah. I have no idea what's up with the Beastmaster ban. I think he's a hero that's underutilized, and I'd like to see more of him. But as it stands, Brewmaster, or Beastmaster, I should say, there's usually better heroes that fill the same role. His single target lockdown is unparalleled. It's quite possibly the best. Yeah. Faceless Void left in the pool yet again if the Houses Down would want to go for it. But they'll instead ban it out. This is actually a pretty interesting ban coming out from them. Sure, they have the Skywrath Mage Faceless Void combo at their disposal, but I think Faceless Void on their team would still be really solid. Vengeful Spirit giving that extra damage in the Chronosphere, as well as swaps if necessary, and Faceless Void catches somebody out, and I think the swap is a good reason not to ban it, as they already have some pretty good tools up against the Faceless Void. Still a scary hero that they're not going to utilize. Instead, they go for the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit, I don't know, currently they have plenty of tools to deal with locking down this Ember Spirit, making sure he's not able to run around freely throughout the fights. They'll have a silence, which is one of the best ways to deal with your Ember Spirit, bursting him down, and now they're going to get another one with the big daddy of silences, Silencer himself. With last words, Ember Spirit, I don't know, he has some pretty big trouble going about the team fights. Silencing him, disarming him is wonderful. And then they'll also have the Skywrath Mage silence and the Earthshaker on top of it. The Silencer pick, however, is going to be fairly squishy, and if the Houses Down get ahead, this Vengeful Spirit could make the Silencer's life a pain, and we'll just have to see how it's going to pan out for them. This Silencer is going to be key for no Earthspirit. Whenever you pick up the hero, it's his ultimate's either to make or break the hero. And it's a really hard hero to hit, honestly. Even the top teams have difficulty predicting every exact movement of the enemy team because that's quite honestly impossible. But as a silencer player, that's what you're trying to do. You want to try to think in the enemy's shoes, where are they positioned and how are they going to break down this team fight? Who's going to cast their next spell and where is the silence going to best be suited to be dropped? And more often than not, it ends up just being a matter of luck, as the Earthspirit picked themselves up the Viper. Viper, really solid hero, and it fits decently well in their draft, gives them a solid mechanism carrier, although I kind of want to see the Silencer build into more of a combat style with building the mech for his team. It's probably just going to be a Aghanim Scepter Refresher Silencer, which also has its merits. Being able to silence somebody for that 14-second duration with both of those items online is amazing, and if you can't cast your spells for that long and you have a tanky frontliner like the Viper, you can just tank up, auto-attack the towers, and wait for the other team to get their spells back, and during that time they can take their towers very easily. The pushing power coming out from most of the heroes is being banned out, but the Houses Down have a very good aggressive early on combo in their supports with the Enchantress and Vengeful Spirit. Magic Missile with the follow-up stuns coming out from the Enchantress creeps could spell doom for any of these heroes, with the particular focus on the Silencer and the Viper. Viper hero that generally is going to win his lane. Invoker fares better than most with the extra exort damage you can CS, and Forge Spirits on top of that. There's definitely worse matchups for the Invoker, but well, no, Earthspirit picked themselves up a Sand King. Huh. Not something I was expecting, but a lot of Blink Initiation coming out from their 2 years. They're going to have the Earthshaker as well as the Sand King on the same team. A lot of AoE damage, and I'd like to see a Veil coming out from them pretty early on. I'm not sure who is actually going to build that. Potentially the Sand King after he finishes up his Blink Arcanes, or maybe just his Blink. I don't know, another very interesting draft. I think the Houses Down have the more all-around better lineup. But I'd love to see a Crit Shaker coming out from Bandit Earthspirit and just having it wreck some absolute face. But for now, it looks like he's going to be going towards the offlane. With or without support, it's still yet to be seen. It is going to be Phantom Swain playing on the aforementioned Earthshaker. The supports are going to be A-Love playing on the Skywrath Mage, and Glacius taking up the Sand King. Hisoka going to be taking up the Viper, and the Silencer, last but not least, on the side of Ban Earth, will be played by Alex Z. And on the side of the Houses Down, we're going to have Laposa taking up the Ember Spirit. Vestius on the Enchantress. Invoker going to be played by Yuka. Inside the base, we are going to have Jubilu going to be playing on the Nature's Prophet, and Vegetable Spirit leading the charge down towards bottom is going to be played by Boogaroo. Yeah, Jubilu and Boogaroo. Those names are going to trip me up one of these days, but for now, it's not too much to handle. It's kind of weird to see the Vengeful Spirit go down to the bottom lane so early, but with the boots first, as well as the Observer Word, she'll be able to secure those word placements for the Nature's Prophet, as he doesn't really want to be placing those himself. As with the Nature's Call, he wants to be able to get the free summon of trees. No, the first blood's going to be on the Enchantress with the Fisher block up and fall off. I should have been watching that. Oh my goodness, a 5-man engagement coming out from Ban Earthspirit going to catch him out. I thought they just in their lanes, and I was mistakenly wrong as the Enchantress gives up the first blood. Vestius with the point enchant could do nothing there. 473 HP, 0 armor. Dead Enchantress. Even if that was any other hero on the side of THD, I don't see it going any differently. She was just caught out alone. And well, it's been my first blood miss for quite some time. It happens. And I'm so sorry for missing that one. It's going to be an early start out for Ban Earthspirit, and it's going to slow down Vestius a little bit, although he's not going to lose any gold, and it's really just going to be the extra money given the way of, I believe, the Silencer is the one who picked up that first blood. So Alex Z off to a decent start. The Treants are going to block off the pole camp, or try to at the very least. It is going to be killed before it's able to do so. And Vengeful Spirit making a wraparound with the Enchantress towards mid. They're looking for a creep potentially at the 32nd spot. It is going to be an Ogre Frost Mage at that camp, and a Hellburst Smasher over here. Not the best creeps to go about, and another set of Ogres over towards the right. They will get themselves a Hellbear, and it's decent follow-up, and they might be able to make something happen. Although, ideally, you'd have a Dark Troll Summoner or a Centaur in order to throw towards the mid. Yep, Skywrath Mage. Going for Concussive Shot first is going to delay his ability to harass out the offlaner by a little bit, but for now, the Nature's Prophet is just sitting on the backlines. Can't really do much more, and actually hasn't seen a single creep's worth of experience. Completely zoned out just by the threat of a Sand King Skywrath Mage combo doing that gank onto him. It is an Earthshaker offlane, coming out from ban Earthspirit. I definitely think it can work out. It's going to be kind of similar to a Centaur offlane, although not as tanky, but that might have to wait as in mid. Now the Centaur picked up by the Vengeful Spirit. If they get in line for the stun onto Ahsoka, and it looks like they will, they get in range, and now the follow-up stun coming out from the Centaur should come out, and it's going to be perfectly landed with the Centaur Hellswear Smasher Clap on top of it. Ahsoka did not stand a chance, and the perfect chain stun is going to come out from these supports, and that's the danger. But Ember Spirit getting chased down by Phantom Soyan. He doesn't have a point into Aftershock and not enough mana to spend on another Fisher. I don't think he can chase him down, especially with Booru coming in. Yeah, if he was needed, that Magic Missile would have spelled the end of Phantom Soyan, but chasing out a little bit too long without the mana pool to sustain it. Unfortunate for the Earthshaker. I'd love to see quote-unquote carry Earthshaker build coming out from him. Maybe go for the standard stuff to begin with and then build later into a crit. I don't know. One can hope for Armlet Earthshaker, but I don't think we'll be seeing it. 1v1 up against the Ember Spirit. Not a matchup you usually see. Earthshaker is doing decently well, and I'd expect that to be the case. At least for the time being. But Ember Spirit shouldn't be zoned out very much. Especially with Earthshaker not having very much mana. Lipoza should be just fine. And I don't think we'll see much action on that lane. As I'm not sure that the houses down are going to focus on shutting down this Earthshaker. I say that, but Boogaroo might make his way towards top as the Earthshaker is pushing fairly aggressively up through the river, and with no ward vision up in top, Boogaroo might be able to get this, and I think they know that he doesn't have ward vision because he's not backing off immediately. Now the boots, they're coming in for the Magic Missile, and it's going to land, and it looks like Phantom Soyan's going to give up a kill. The lack of ward vision is really going to cost him here. They're looking for the kill. Vengeful Spirit picks that up with the last auto attack. The Flame Guard did wear off at the end of the day. Yeah. I really think it's very risky to go towards an offlane without any ward vision, especially if you are playing something like an Earthshaker offlane that doesn't have that nice escape. If that was a Faceless Void, he might have been able to time walk away, or anything along those lines, like a Clinks or a Wind Ranger. Just something with any mobility spell might have been able to find the gap between the Magic Missile and the Searing Chains. But even then, it's unlikely. It's a lot more likely than an Earthshaker getting out of their life. With just the boots, it doesn't really cut it here, as Earthshaker's actually going for more points into the Enchant Totem, which I absolutely love, and it's putting a lot of pressure on Lipoza. He gets another Enchant Totem. He might be able to go for this kill with the mana for the Fisher. He's going to line that up on Lipoza. He needs to punch him one more time with the Enchant Totem, and there you go. Ember Spirit's going to lose his life. Let's see if they're going to be able to get the turn on to the Earthshaker with the TP support coming out from Jubilo, as well as the Sunstrike. It is going to land perfectly on the Earthshaker, although not doing that much damage. The right clicks are going to the air. Enchantress picks themselves up the return kill on the Earthshaker, although I think that's still worth it for the Earthshaker, getting a solo kill on the Ember Spirit and forcing out these rotations as well as focus. Earthshaker is currently level 5, and although the gold is nice, and keeping the Earthshaker down is also to their benefit. The houses down are going to be the winners at the last hour. Viper versus the Invoker. Invoker's actually doing very well. I was not expecting this at all, but Yuka is actually beating the Viper. Not by that much, but as far as this stacks up to how it's expected to go, he's doing admirably. 23-8 compared to the 15-4 of the Viper. This is something that I just haven't seen. If you're going to expect a losing lane from the Viper, you usually don't go for this poison attack build. You'd put like 2 points in Nether Toxin to try to last hit better, but that's really the reason why Invoker's having such a grand time. Tier 1 tower up in top is going to fall after the rotations. They didn't leave anybody off, and with the extra Enchantress creeps, as well as Nature's Prophet Treants, a fairly easy tower. Earthshaker throw out some Fissures, which is nice for pulling off the aggro, but when you commit 4 heroes to a lane like this, it's pretty easy for you to get the tower, unless the enemy team commit some extra supports. And, well, it's not going to stop the houses down, as they're going to commit for the tier 2 as well. And this is looking gravely familiar as far as how game 1 went down, as the Doom wasn't able to counter push that much. Earthshaker definitely better, but when you're not maxing out Fissure, it doesn't do enough damage. And with the Treants also going to pull off the creep aggro, this tier 2 tower is not looking too healthy. Will they get a good enough trade on the other portions of the map in order to make this worthwhile? Silencer's getting good farm in bottom, which is grand. He will be going straight for that Aghanim Scepter with the point booster already in inventory. They force down the Skyearth rotation up towards top to help out the Earthshaker, and they'll bring down the tower to half health, but still, the house is down, getting some pretty good rotations. I think they should have backed off after the tier 1. Is pretty much how I'm going to sum that up. Is it's a little bit of time that they kind of lost, especially on bottom lane where the Nature's Prophet could be farming, which is phase boots. It's not the greatest. And now that Silencer is up ahead by 2 levels, as well as a decent amount of farm on top of that, there's not a whole lot that the Nature's Prophet can do. And I don't know, if he gets caught out and Silencer has enough mana, he could potentially get a kill on this Nature's Prophet if the Nature's Prophet isn't careful. He has the Silence to cancel the teleport away. Yeah. It's a huge surprise to me that Ban Earthspirit are not winning this middle lane, but their other lanes are doing swimmingly. This Earthshaker has 23 CS, and although he's died twice, He made sure that he got some kills for it, and he's going to have his completed Arcane Boots, or actually, he's not going to go for that. Going for something completely different in the form of a Mystic Staff. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to assume Force as well. They're going to find out Glacius. They stun him up, and now he's in a bit of a pickle here. He drops the Burrow Strike to try to delay things for now. They have the Magic Missile coming through, however, and Glacius looks to be pretty screwed. And in the end, they'll secure that kill, and actually they channel the Tornado from the Wild Wing Ripper. A little bit late there, Chicken Buddy, but yeah, Sand King, his jungle is going to be stymied for a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how the net worth is going to pan out from the last hits, because as far as last hits are concerned, Earthspirit are looking wonderful. They have the Sand King farming up the jungle. All three of their lanes are getting something, because the house is down committed so heavily to top. But with getting the tier 1 tower, they are going to have a little bit more gold in their pockets, and it's going to look pretty even for now. I'm not sure if it's actually worth looking at the graphs, but only about 1,000 gold in the favor of the house is down, and Earthspirit have about 1,000 in experience towards their lead, and not that that's very unexpected. With the jungle farmer, you are going to get that extra experience. Although gold is not going to be made up that fast, since the tower is going to come out king. Earthspirit left solo up on top lane. He has a lot of range creeps at his disposal. The Earthshaker's out roaming. Yeah, I don't know, this is a very peculiar build that I haven't seen from Earthshakers before, as far as the items are concerned. The Enchant Totem I quite like it, the extra damage is wonderful. I mean, when you can hit somebody for 300 a pop twice, when you time that correctly, especially if you have a Blink or Force Staff to get in range, you can do absolute work, especially to these squishy support heroes like the Vengeful Spirit, as well as the Enchantress. Although Enchantress, once she gets more points than Untouchable, that is a little less viable, as with maxed out Untouchable, Fan of Soin is just going to be swinging his totem so slowly. The time for aggression coming out from the house is down is a little bit delayed now that Vestius, as well as the Vengeful Spirit up from Boogaroo, is going to kind of fall off a little bit for now, but still Magic Missile, they have the tools that they need to find kills if they group up for them. They're going to be content with just getting farm around the map, and Earthspirit looking pretty good in that department, although not the best, as is the Nature's Prophet. Silencer, going to put a little bit of damage, but it's negligible on this tier 1 tower, now with the Nature's Call as well. Nature's Prophet is going to make sure that Alexi isn't getting his tower. It's going to be defended at the very least for the Nature's Prophet. Yuka has backed off for the Hand of Midas, didn't see what the timing on that was, but still, it's going to be a good one, and on Invoker, it's pretty standard, and I don't expect him to get anything else in this mid lane, especially since how well it's going. 58-11 compared to 38-6 on a Viper is just unheard of. I think Midas is the right choice this game. Just going to accelerate that lead a little bit further is all Fan of Soin. Might be looking for blood now. Just going to drop the Enchant Totem and then smack a creep with it to secure himself a CS. Smoke coming out from Enchantress. I'd like to see this aggressive rotation come soon. For now, she's just going to farm up and look for another creep, presumably, before they go for the full move. The Courier is inbound and will deliver it, as well as the Buckler towards the Enchantress, as she will be the mechanism carry for her team. The only other one that usually builds the mechanism is Nature's Prophet, but with his starting items, looks like he's going for the Orchid, and it'll be very useful at bursting down the Silencer as well as the Earthshaker if they got caught out, or get caught out alone. That is correct. I believe that was a Sunstrike, although I didn't hear the noise for it, and no, it wasn't. Looks like Forge Spirit timed out. I have no idea. No, that was a Fire Remnant. Sorry, it is getting a little late here, so my analysis is going to start wavering, especially since I don't have that co-caster. And, well, passive games are not very conducive to this. At this point, last game, we had a Meepo jumping around the entire map, and although the kill score is looking pretty admirable for this point in the game, at about 7 kills, it's nothing to write home about either. I'd love to see absolutely clashy Dota, but before the Blink Daggers come online for the Earthshaker, or rather Force Staff for the Earthshaker, and Blink Dagger for the Sand King, I don't think we're going to be seeing that. THD don't have the same items in order to go for, but I'd like to see them at least try for the Roshan as soon as Invoker gets his level 9, and we'll speak of the devil, he has it. If they send Invoker with Forge Spirits as well as the Vengeful Spirit with Medallion in the Roshan pit, those two can take it pretty easily just between them, and yeah, it will be pretty obvious that the Invoker is missing, but they might just expect that he's farming up the jungle. Won't be the most obvious Roshan, although definitely something that they need to be worried about. Honestly, Booger as well as Vestius might be able to do it themselves, but now the Sand King has his Blink Dagger, and, well, this is go time for Glacius. He has his ultimate as well, as level 3 Burrow Strike here. Where is he going to strike? He doesn't have a smoke just yet. Just going to finish up this large Wild King, and go up towards top. This is where I think he's going to gank. Maybe the Invoker in mid is going to be the easier target for him to go for. Viper. He's working towards his mechanism and is going to have it at a decent timing, although he's backed off for the Wraith Band as well as the Belt of Giant Strength. His item progression isn't going to be the fastest. Roshan is being pinged out by the Silencer, potentially thinking they're going for it. I think they saw that the Vengeful Spirit had them dallying in their inventory, but for now Boogaroo is going to show his face in lane, giving away the fact that they're not going for Roshan, or at least suggesting at Ban Earth that they're not going to be going for it. There's a ping going towards the Ember Spirit. I think they saw him TP. Not sure. I think Ember Spirit was somewhere else on the map. This is a very interesting game coming out from the Ember Spirit. He's roaming around where he could just be farming up towards top, although the creep equilibrium isn't that great in his favor. Earthshaker is still working towards whatever his next item may be. If he has the 4-staff, he'll almost have enough gold to complete that. As the smoke comes out, instead from THG, that's the one picked up by the Enchantress earlier. Magic Missile with the follow-up coming out from the Enchantress as well as the Ember Spirit should be a fairly easy kill, especially if they catch out the Silencer solo. Alex E, sniffing something's wrong, is going to play very defensively on his side of the trees and won't get caught out for now. They might be looking for the Sand King as well, but Sand King is instead going up top, smoked out with Span of Soin as well as a Love. And let's see who's going to strike first. The THD crew are looking for the Viper in mid, potentially as the Nature's Prophet up in top lane. He's going to get silenced up and caught out by the Burrow Strike. No blink even necessary there. They were able to just waddle up in front. And now it's THD's turn to strike. The Viper is going to get caught out by 3 here. The Wolf Stomp is going to miss. No, it's going to be cancelled up as the follow-up stomp as well as the Sunstrike comes through on Hisoka. And Hisoka going to be brought down. Now the tier 1 tower not going to look pretty good for Where as it's going to fall. The trade will be there up top, presumably by Ban Earthspirit, although their heroes don't push very fast. Fan of Soyan can contribute a little bit of damage with the Enchant Totem, but the tier 1 tower is going to be the first to fall, and THG actually could defend their tier 1 tower up top if they wanted to. Doesn't look like they're going to posture to do so, and instead are going to back off into the Roshan pit. This isn't spotted out by any Radiant Wards, but their Roshan's going to be pretty fast with all of the summons that they have, as well as the minus armor from the Vengeful Spirit. I think this is just going to straight up die. They need Glacius to be inbound to have that blink initiation. He should probably TP the tier 2 and start making his way there, but without the tier 1 tower, this is THG's free ticket for Roshan, and they'll get it. Ember Spirit picks himself up the Aegis. Simultaneously, we have a Silencer picking up his Ags at a good timing. We'll have to see if it's going to be worthwhile as the support's going towards bottom. I think Silencer needs to get the heck out of dodge here. Alex Z, not the fastest of heroes, and if he gets caught out in a Magic Missile, he's probably going to die. Or at the very least be forced to use his ultimate, which is something he doesn't want to do. In 130-second cooldown, the Global Silence is going to be very important for them to be able to take team fights. If they get a blink in Burrow Strike Epicenter with a Global Silence on top, so that THG have nothing to defend against that, they'll be able to get the kill on the Ember Spirit fairly easily, as well as the other heroes, just not contributing anything. While they're silenced, Nature's Prophet and Ember Spirit can right-click decently, as can the Invoker, but it's not great. They want their spells, ideally. Earthshaker does back off for the Blink Dagger after a casual Staff of Wizardry. I don't like this item progression coming up from Earthshaker. He has the casual Sage's Mask, which I guess is okay in lane. Probably would have liked to see Basilius a little bit more. But yeah, I think you kind of just wasted 1,000 gold on the Staff of Wizardry. Although the extra stats are going to be very beneficial for the Earthshaker, and will make sure that he doesn't have to buy into the Arcane Boots first. They're not without warrant, but I think if you want to go for those just effective items as far as early game and inventory space, maybe just get a Soul Ring with that Sage's Mask instead. Fan of Soin leading the charge with his Blink Dagger as well as the Blink Echo Slam available. This could be a big fight. The tier 1 tower didn't see if it got denied or not. It looks like Silencer did secure that last hit, and oh, Venge. Boogaroo going to get caught out by the Blink. They're going to drop the Enchant Totem on top of her with a follow-up Burrow Strike, and Boogaroo, he's just going to die. When you get caught out by 4 heroes like that, there's very little chance that you're going to be able to survive. The group up is going to come out bottom as the tier 1 tower is going to be the charge for Ban Earthspirit. This game, we're not really seeing the vast pushing power coming out from them. Last game, both teams had decent tools to transition into tower pushes, but right now it's just THG. They have so many summons, and Ban Earthspirit, I think their counter push is not up to the task, as the top tier 2 tower looks like it's going to fall with an Alacrity Forge Spirit, as well as the Centaur being away with it. That's almost enough to kill it, as Fan Soin jumps up here with the Fissure to delay things, but that's all it's going to end up doing. He might be able to get the deny, he's looking for it with the extra damage, he should be able to get it. No, Blink Forward by Glacius, not going to throw out anything, and well, the Sunstrike comes through, the Echo Slam going to do decent damage, but in the end, the Earthshaker falls. I know Laposa as well as Glacius, they're kind of standing awkwardly in the sandstorm as the dust comes through with the Nature's Prophet, and whoa, Glacius is also going to die. No deny, as well as 2 kills going the way of THG. A huge win for them. The tier 1 tower down and bottom might fall for this, but they got themselves a tier 2 and should be happy. Vengeful Spirit might pull off the creep aggro. In the end, just drops a Howl of Terror. Might look for the deny here. I think it's at least worth attempting it, but now that the glyph has been spent, they're going to have the ability to drop the Skywrath here. Viper is going to be dropped to get the last hit, and the swap going to come in. He doesn't have the tower or any backup here. Where's the Nature's Prophet TPing in? They don't have anything. Now he's going to be silenced up. Booger is going to eat a Viper Strike, and that amplified magic damage should be enough. The Sunstrike is going to miss on everything, and Booger is going to die to the Viper Strike. The tier 3 tower in the meantime, up in top, with the Forge Spirits as well as the Treants attacking it, is going to fall into deny range and might actually end up dying. They're going to clear up the Forge Spirits, and, well, it is going to be safe for now. I don't think they'll go for the deny, as losing at tier 3 is going to be pretty difficult for them to deal with, as it'll leave their barracks open, which is not something you want to be doing. Emberster still holding on to this Aegis and is yet to transition into pure damage. But as this game goes later, we're probably going to see a Battle Fury out in Ember Spirit as well as a crit. And then Skywrath Mage, Sand King, Silencer, as well as Earthshaker looking pretty squishy. The Viper has the mechanism, but without anything on top of that, he's also not going to be immune to the burst damage coming out from the Ember Spirit. And especially with an Orchid picked up by the Nature's Prophet, which is almost flying out. It's not the fastest Orchid by any means, but with the towers going their way, it's going to be a very respectable timing. Especially considering how much CS he has, which really is pretty lackluster. Almost about the same as the Sand King. Vengeful Spirit in mid. She goes for the power treads after the medallion. The early medallion makes Roshan so easy for them, and I like this item pickup on Venge. She needs a little bit of mana restoration. But I don't think Arcane Boots every game is going to be very useful, especially not as useful as the power treads are going to be. The extra attack speed scales better on her than a lot of supports is with the extra minus armor. She'll be able to put out a little bit of damage herself, and more importantly, it's just going to be a really nice stat item to bolster her pretty pathetic early HP pool, although her stat gain is definitely pretty solid. Nature's Prophet TPs away from bottom lane to farm up his own jungle. They're not going to commit to this tier 2 tower just yet. With Glacius as well as Fan of Soyan, they're respecting the Blink Daggers coming out from those two. Their Blinks are the only two in the game as of yet, and Banner Spirit definitely can get a pretty big team fight, and their high ground defense is really good if they have everybody in position. The biggest problem for them is that THG have been the ones that have been controlling the map. As similar to last game, although not as dominating, they have the map control right now, and with the Orchid picked up on the Nature's Prophet, their pickoff potential just got a whole lot scarier as well. Vengeful Spirit with the Haste and drops a ward. With a global TP in, they might even be able to go for them, although the global silence would stop that as well. They get a blink forward coming out from Glacius, or no, just the Burrow Strike. He's going to be going for the Force Staff next. I think he has that almost completed. It's just going to be the Recipe and the Wizardry Staff. But after a couple more last hits on the creeps, Glacius will have his next item. Ban Earthspirit, their late game, although Silencer in theory can scale really well, is pretty abysmal, especially when you compare that to the split push coming out from an Invoker and Nature's Prophet. And Ember Spirit late game, it's just too scary for them to really take this. They need to start forcing the engagements, but right now THG aren't giving them the openings to do so. This might change as the Invoker Yuka is just kind of standing there. Force Spirits are being microed, and Glacius actually TP's way. Necronomicon 3 picked up by Yuka, and in the end Yuka going to be fine. Bottom might be the place where he initiated, well, at the ultimate committed by the Silencer to ensure that he's not able to run in out of there. And now Vestia is going to be silenced up. The sun coming up from the enchant totem. Oh, that swing just going to be so slow because of the excuse me. Oh, untouchable there at level 3. And Vestius, it looks like he's going to escape here. The TP in from Nature's Prophet not going to come through. There it is. He doesn't have the Orchid, and they're going to be able to blink away to safety. They have another TP, and he's going to make the Treants here and going to be forced to back off. The Gust Strike going to slow him down. They should have a Burst Strike coming out from Glacius. This is going to come there. Now the follow-up coming up from Fan of Soyan, just going to be bashed to death by that enchant totem. The big swing of Fan of Soyan's stick. And, well, the trade around the map really isn't happening for THD, so after that, they give up some pretty good kills. The first usage of Global Silence, as far as I'm aware, comes out as a pretty big win. Boogaroo, not going to be chased down by the Viper. At about 20 minutes in, it's a decent time to take a look at the graphs again. It's still really even, although slight advantage towards THD. After the graphs completely update, I'd expect that to be about 2,000 gold advantage. And, well, Banner Spirit leading in XP. The story is not changed as far as the last time we looked at those graphs. Roshan, going to be a pretty big objective for THG to take, as these tier 2 towers are proving pretty difficult to push into as long as Ban Earthspirit are on the ball and rotating all of their heroes in early enough in order to defend against them. They're fine with taking this late for sure, and that's probably what THG are going to do. They're just going to wait until Ember Spirit gets up his next item, the Battle Fury, and probably the Chrysalis after that, if they really want to play it safe. And Nature's Prophet can pick up one more. Potentially a Necrobook to pair along with Invoker's Book is no, they're going to jump in top before I say anything. They're going to get the chains on the Sand Kings. The Burst Strikes in straight into those chains. The Sunstrike going to land on to Fan of Soin. It's going to be tanked up by a couple of creeps, however. He's going to be able to get the Fissure as well as Enchant Totem off before dying here, but the Remnant 4 coming up from the Ember Spirit. He's looking for more. He doesn't have the Aegis anymore, but it won't matter. He's going to be silenced under tower, but the Scarlet Mage not able to do that much damage through the Flame Guard. Leposa still looking pretty low. With another Remnant, it's going to be in a very awkward situation. He'll be able to go back to base and then heal up fully before coming back in. There's no tier 2 tower here, but no, on the back lines, there's going to be a fight breaking out. The Sprout onto the Viper. They'll be able to secure that kill. And now Jubilu maybe looking for more as the Scarlet Mage. Going to be chased down by these Necronomicons. Won't have any TPs and not going to be playing that aggressively. There's going to be chains in the back lines coming up from the Ember Spirit. Just going to be clearing up these creeps. As the push is coming out from THD a little bit faster than I thought it would. Sunstrike, looking for the Scarlet Mage. If that connected, it would have been a kill with almost maxed out Exhorter. Would have been very close at the very least as he drops the silence on Leposa. Leposa not going to be able to get out of there alive. Mechanism is going to keep him alive for now. The Exclave, it's not going to be enough as that was actually a concussive shot. They're looking for the Burrow Strike. Is he going to land with Fissure? You sure bet it will. Why is he not throwing it? He is going to go for it, but with the Flame Guard, the extra damage is being absorbed. The right clicks are not going to be there now. He's going to be able to make a turn. They're going to be able to kill on the Scarlet Mage as well as Sand King. A triple kill for Phantom Sword as he drops the Echo Slam onto everybody with the... Oh my goodness. What a weird engagement, but that Echo Slam, instant triple kill for Fan of Soin. That's level 2 Echo Slam, and that thing stings when you're sitting around creeps as well as 3 heroes. Blink Dagger is going to be picked up by the Invoker. Looking for those better combos. I have no idea how that trade actually ended up. I think it was fairly even. All said and done, they will lose their tier 3 tower up top. Don't think it was denied. And now Roshan spotted up by the Dart. Looks like they're going to go for that one next. With the Nature's Prophet TPing in as well, they can do it very easily. But honestly, I think Booger and Yuka can just straight up solo this one, especially if they pop the Necro Book. But they won't have that for another couple of seconds, and Nature's Prophet will res before that actually happens. Ember Spirit presumably going to be the target for this Aegis pickup, as he does have his Battle Fury. He'll probably TP back here if he gets it pooled, but... other than that, just going to take the long walk of shame in order to pick up this Aegis. If it dies too quickly before he gets there, they might hand it off to somebody along the lines of the Invoker or the Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet currently TPing down towards bottom to make sure things don't look too suspicious. But as it stands, Earthspirit can't really contest. They don't have their Global and they don't have their Echo Slam, and they're not in position. Roshan going to drop. Ember Spirit picks himself up an Aegis, and his aggressive play is not going to go as punished as easily this time around. The double damage rune is going to be picked up by the Ember Spirit. Would make farming the stack a lot easier, but no. Fan of Soin gets a kill on Nature's Prophet down in bottom, putting out Blink Dagger. Good use. Nature's Prophet, I don't know, just getting caught out, pushing that out a little too aggressively. And Earthshaker, not traditionally the hero that you think of when you look at heroes that catch out Nature's Prophet. Usually you're thinking of Storm and Clockwork as far as cores are concerned, but Earthshaker, he's been able to do it, and we're not seeing the quote-unquote carry Earthshaker, as it's dubbed, Crit Shaker here, as just a lot of utility items for Fan of Soin, but that's okay. That's what they need him to do, and he's having a great impact. As we're caught in just as Leposa is going to Remnant in. The pings are coming out on top of him as well. It's kind of weird to see that 3D effect. Yeah, in the end, Ember Spirit wants some blood. The Scarlet Mage, Aelov, not sure you're getting out of this one alive. You might be able to make a turn on Leposa, but we have a lag. I think that might be the Scarlet Mage, and well, they might let him go because of it. But we'll have to see how Leposa is going to act. He is currently jumping in. That Scarlet Mage just walks, and no, they won't kill.
Alright,
yep, so in the end, good sportsmanship is going to prevail as Aelov, it's an auto attack from Booger. Auto attack going to make Aelov go back to base, but I think that was already kind of the plan for him. Yeah, so even in Dota, this is pretty good. Jubilu up in top lane with the rest of his buddies, the Enchantress and the Invoker. Not going to be able to find any kills. It's still a pretty passive game coming out from THD, and that's okay. They just got caught out by a huge Echo Slam from the Earthshaker, and they don't want to have that happen again. He has it back up, and he's also going to have a completed Yules here pretty soon with the Voidstone in his courier as well as the recipe. Don't think he has a Staff of Wizardry anywhere, but he will be 800 gold away from that. And that'll be another great way to catch out some of these heroes before they blink away, in particular the Invoker, and maybe for catching out the Nature's Prophet, setting up into the Enchant Totem, or maybe even the Echo Slam on top if he has enough creeps around. Yeah, just going to make Jubilu's life really hard. As much as I like seeing crit, these utility items are really paying off for Earthspirit right now. Banner Spirit looking pretty good as far as the graphs are concerned, I would expect, but still a slight lead towards THD, although experience is in their favor. I don't know, slowly but surely THD are getting a little bit of more gold, but I don't know, their lead is stagnating and isn't that significant. Really what that lead is going to translate into as far as items are concerned is more or less just this medallion on the Vengeful Spirit, as well as the mechanism on the Enchantress, although there's not a direct comparison across the teams.
Dyer's mid tower could use a little help.
It's not overwhelming. Had they had like a Daedalus on top of this on their Ember Spirit, then we're talking some pretty big trouble. Tier 1 tower in mid is going to fall into Banner Earthspirit's favor, which will give them a little bit more gold, but now they have to defend their bottom tier 2s. The TPs are coming in droves. Where's the initiation? They're going to jump onto jDL3, and jDL3 looks like he's going to be pretty dead here. Caught out, Enchant Totem to secure that kill. And Earthshaker, he's pumping out some pretty hefty damage with level 15 as well as maxed out Enchant Totem. Those things hurt. I don't know. It's pretty much like a double damage crit. It's pretty ridiculous. 400% bonus damage per swing of his mighty Enchant Totem. And you can get that off twice in pretty quick succession. That's almost 1,000 damage of burst physical. And while up in top, the range barracks are taking a lot of pressure. This is looking pretty familiar as far as last game is concerned, but it's like a slowed down version without a Meepo, which in my book makes this a little less, oh, Sunstrike. Rip Skywrath as he gets picked off inside the base. The Forge Spirits, as well as the Necronomicon, putting him low, and then the Invoker just going to be able to line that one up. Well played, Yuka. It's so hard to play as a supporter, a squishy hero, up against an Invoker. When he has that maxed out Exhort, those Sunstrikes are really going to do a lot of damage, as long as he's able to line them up. And THD, they have faith in their Invoker, and it's not without reason, as Yuka's been able to back up the pick here with them. Some pretty well-positioned Sunstrikes. Oh no, we're going to look at Booger get picked off here as he's going to drop the swap with his dying breath, but in the end gets picked up by the Sand Burrow Strike and one more right click. Yeah, Vengeful Spirit just caught out in a very compromising position between the two heroes that are probably best suited at killing you right now, as the Sand King and Earthshaker can just stun lock you to death and then kill you. Earthshaker blinks forward, potentially looking for the Ember Spirit, not going to find him out, as Leposa is going to back off towards the trees. With the Crystallis on top of his Battle Fury, he's going to start hitting pretty hard, although his peak has not been met. He's going to be TP'd down and joined by jDL3 here, as jDL3 probably going to stun those treants and push down this wave a little bit longer. But as we saw in the previous fight with the Earthshaker Echo Slam, those can be to your disadvantage if you get caught out with them. All of those summons, Earthshaker, one of the best heroes to deal with that. Range barracks up top is going to die, just the constant necro spam coming out from the Invoker, and it's kind of expected that that's going to happen. It's definitely not the end of the world for Banner Earthspirit, but a little bit of extra pressure that they have to worry about. Alex Z, I haven't really felt the impact of this silencer pick, to be honest. They had 1 or 2 good silences to kill the Ember Spirit, but other than that, it just hasn't done anything. He's stolen 6 int, which at 28 minutes in is really not where you want your silencer to be. That said, he's also not died and he's farmed well. I would have liked to see a different hero if you're just going to AFK farm it up. Maybe pick something like a Spectre or Anti-Mage if you really want to go hard, or yeah, maybe even a Nagasarn. I'm not sure what Banner Spirit are more comfortable with playing, but I think it would end up being a little bit better than the Silencer. Maybe just a natural Orchid pickup like a Storm Spirit, a Sunstrike. Oh my goodness, they're going to blow up the Earthshaker in fashion as the crit comes out from the Ember Spirit. 2 ESs going head to head, and unfortunately the Earthshaker going to come behind us. Oh, the chain's going to catch out A-Love, and Leposa gets himself a double kill with more cleave damage coming out, catching those 2 heroes out. It's hard life for the Skywrath Mage. Poor man's shield casually dropped on the ground from the Ember Spirit. Don't think he's ever going to pick that one up. I don't know. I would have liked to see him sell it. That's 300 gold, which is kind of the same as a hero kill at a low level. At the very least, it's going to be somewhat like 5 CS or something that you definitely would like to have. So maybe have the Courier pick that one up, have the Nature's Prophet ferry that back to base. But for now, just casual poor man's shield.
Radiant's bottom tower
Tier 2 tower and bottom is going to be breached by THD, as there's no one there to defend it. They are going to give the last hit to the creeps, but slowly but surely they're choking them out. They're drawing the attention up top because of these extra range creeps, and it's pretty much keeping it inside the base. And Necronomicon units are almost taking out this melee barracks. This Invoker is just unrelenting coming out from Yuka, and it's worked out really well in the previous game. honestly, with the BKB and a couple other heroes, they could just fully commit up here as all the Vengeful Spirit getting caught out by Phantom Soin. But who's caught out here? He's going to use it up in the air, but now the Sunstrike is going to come through, not going to land on anything. Sprout's going to keep Phantom Soin at bay, but he's going to force that forward to get the Enchant Totem hit onto Jubilu. Jubilu not going to be caught out. Oh, the swap is going to end up getting Boogaroo dead here. Nature's probably going to be able to TP away. The Scarlet Mage ulti as well. Silence is going to be enough. And now they get the double kill here as good teamwork ends up getting them both killed. Sometimes it just happens that way, and it costs them a global silence, but definitely worth it catching out those kills, as well as making sure their melee barracks stays intact with the pressure up top, and they'll also have a silence up for the next fight if they really need to blow it. They have a refresher orb that hasn't been spotted out by THG just yet. Once he shows himself to the creeps, however, they should know that this is going on, and Alex D probably has given away that fact. It's kind of expected they'll have that farm sooner rather than later. Vestius has his Aghanim Scepter completed now as you do a quick item check on both teams. 4 staff on the Vengeful Spirit, as well as the Ags on the Enchantress. These supports are going to start hitting pretty hard. Glacius looks like he's building towards the Veil of Discord I was talking about in the draft, which is going to be wonderful for them, although it's going to be quite some ways away. Still needs that recipe, and I don't think he has any gold as up on top. They might catch somebody out as Yuka. He's invised up by the Invis Rune and not the Ghost Walk, so they won't know that he's actually here, and oh my goodness, the Scarlet Mage just going to get blown to death. The Deafening Blast comes through, and Hisoka not going to be immune to this with DP in from Jubilu. They also have Alex. He's going to drop the global silence to the both of them. Now the Burrow Strike is going to come through. They don't have the Epicenter on top. They don't even need it. The damage is too much. The BKB not going to save the Invoker here, so right clicks are going to do the work. TP in from Phantom Soin. And Alex dropping low with the Necronomicon units. But in the end, Scarlet Mage for 2 core. You'll take that trade any day as a Scarlet Mage. And looking for more potential. The Blink Forwards are not going to catch anybody out, but Boogaroo going to make a hasty retreat. It's tier 1, or tier 2 tower, I should say, up on top, is going to take quite a bit of damage from these banned Earthspirit heroes that are left behind. Not the best pushing heroes. They'll probably drop it back half. And without the Enchantress there to defend, as well as the other heroes, not really in the vicinity, Tier 2 Tower probably going to fall one way or another, although they do glyph it up, and for now we are going to see Ban Earthspirit backing off towards their bases. They're not looking entirely healthy. That refresher orb really saved that last fight. The double curse of the silent damage on single targets is ridiculous. It does a whole heck of a lot. They are forced back because their mid lane as well as bottom lane are forced in, and although I said that their late game isn't that great right now, Ben Earthspirit are still looking pretty sweet as far as their heroes are concerned. Give this another 10 or 15 minutes, and THG, they'll get another item on their Ember Spirit, whether that's Daedalus, whether that's another Battle Fury for himself. He's going to be hitting like a truck. We're going to have Invoker with the Scythe of Vice on top of that, maybe. Boots of Travel, if he goes for them first, we might not see the Scythe. I don't know. In 10-15 minutes, I think it's not too much to ask for a Scythe of Vice. For sure. Sorry about that. Yeah. His farming speed would have to be pretty darn slow if he wasn't able to get about 5,000 gold in 10 minutes. I don't know. It's at this point in the game with the map control they have, it's not asking too much, especially with the Midas online as well for Invoker. But yeah, once they have those pickups as well as another item on Nature's Prophet, looks like he thought about the BKB early on and now is going for the Necrobook. Once they have the Necrobook 3 as well as BKB, their fighting potential is going to be huge. They look for a jump on bottom, not going to find it. Invoker down to the south, Yuka should be just fine. Ember Spirit to the north, Leposa also not going to get caught. Vengeful Spirit pushing out top lane carefully, and THD, they're getting away for Fissure. Earthshaker smells something potentially. He's not going to go for it as Boogaroo has found himself a nice little cubby hole. Oh, if they find this Vengeful Spirit out, it could be huge. He looks for the Fissure. Boogaroo is just caught out in the awkwardest position here with no TP scroll. Boogaroo is stuck. Hopefully there's nothing exciting going on the other side of the map, as we're just going to watch Boogaroo as Fissure wears off. Finally going to have a jump, and well, with the TP and support, maybe they're not even going to need it with the Nature's Prophet Ultimate and Sunstrike. That's going to be enough to get the kill on the Scarlet Mage. Boogaroo slowed up, but no Earthshaker in the vicinity to get that kill, and in the end, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Vengeful Spirit blows up her star-crossed lover in the form of the Skywrath. Earthshaker, he wants some blood here with the blink forward onto the Vengeful Spirit. He could go for it. He fissures her, and now with the follow-up enchant totem, those just do so much damage. He might have to blow the echo. Oh no, he's not. With the Evil Scepter, that's plenty of setup, as well as the Silencer jumping in. There's going to be a swamp, but in the end, just going to secure that Silencer gets the kill. 16 stolen in, and Alex Z's picked up a lot of momentum after the last couple of fights, and he hasn't died a single time, so the Silencer is still remaining relevant. The Dire is going to get the kill on the Roshan here. Cheese still on the ground as this is the third Roshan, presumably given the way of the Invoker. Teleport scroll on the ground will be handed the way of Vestius, and they'll be able to play or swap out those items when necessary. But Ember Spirit with another Aegis in his belt, he's probably going to be looking for another damage item. Although Leposa with the Mithril Hammer, I'm expecting this to be BKB. It's great to get out of the silence coming out from the silencer, although he'll have the secondary silence in order to drop it, and if he's forced to BKB before the fight, the global can still go through. So I'm not sure if BKB is really the right choice. I would have liked to just see him go for straight damage, although it's kind of a necessity. As much as I hate saying that, Daedalus Battle Fury is going to have to be it for Leposa until he gets his 5th and 6th slots. Up on top, Alexi pushing out with company. But the group up is going to be from THD in bottom. The Necronomicon as well as Forge Spirit summoned, and the slow chip is going to start coming out. The Melee Barracks up on top is completely healed up. Since the Invoker has stopped poking away at that one, I'd like to see them maybe go for that one next, but yeah. They will clean up these Necronomicons, and that's actually a decent amount of gold as well as experience fed the way of Ben Earthspirit. Yeah, but fight might break out on top of the Scar with Mage ulti. He's not really going to land on much of anything. They swap in A-Love, but A-Love is going to end up being dropped. They have the secondary silence coming from Alex. He's not going to throw it out, and well, Echo Slam only going to land really onto the Ember Spirit, but he's silenced up, can't do anything. He's going to lose his Aegis to start this off, but he's going to come back with the Vengeance of Nature's Prophet, falling dangerously low. Will he take down? No, he's going to survive with 26 HP, and now Yuka going to join this fight as well, and Phantom Soin going to be chained up by the Sleight of Fist they're looking for as Alex caught out inside the... They're not going to get the kill on the silencer, and he's going to remain deathless as Aegis as well as a kill on the Vengeful Spirit for 2, a pretty decent trade. Or pretty even trade, I should say. Although, this is the opening for Ban Earthspirit with all those big ultimates down. With the exception of Epicenter, they can just go straight for this. BKB on Leposa is going to make him pretty much immortal in this next engagement. As no silencer ulti coming up for 90 seconds. And I think they just found a way to break the barracks. As even as that fight looked in a vacuum, if you look at how this is going to impact the rest of this game, presumably, as long as THG don't completely flub up this push, they're going to be looking at a pretty decent advantage. Nature's Prophet probably going to push down bottom and then rejoin the rest of the team. And for now, they're going to be sated by taking up these Ancients, but they still have a decent window while Silencer won't have his ult. Forge Spirit's going to do a little bit of chip, don't even get 2 attacks off, and that'll be completely regen before anything else happens. They need to commit a little bit more to this, and honestly, I don't like this move coming out from THD. I think they have the tools that they need in order to commit for this push, and this is probably the best timing they're going to hit, at least for a couple more minutes before the next items go. Yeah, not sure what they're waiting for. Crit Shaker is coming online as Phantom Soin picks himself up. The Crystal is not going to be the Big Daddy crits, but still, if he crits on one of these supports and gets an enchant totem on them again, they're pretty much going to be dead. It's going to be as simple as that. It's too much damage to deal with, and a lot of theory crafting has been done, and I love seeing this, especially after he gets all of the utility. He drops the first enchant totem. They might catch it the Ember Spirit. This could be huge with the Fisher follow-up or Strike. Do they have enough damage? They might have to give it the Echo Slam. Just do it! He's not going to go for it. As Leposa is going to be able to remnant up towards the top. They needed to Echo Slam him there. I think that's totally worth it, going for the Ember Spirit kill. He had the BKB, and in the end, if he's able to get that off, he'd live. But Nature's Prophet might not be so good. These Echo Slam's committed. It actually doesn't catch out Jubilee with the stun, but the damage is going to do a whole heck of a lot. But the Yule Scepter comes out to save his life, and now the Necronomicon on the ground. They're looking for the Burrow Strike as the Epicenter is being channeled up. They drop the Global Silence. It is going to be off of cooldown, and now Jubilee is looking for the, or Leposa is looking for the damage. Leposa actually taking a lot of right clicks from Alex Z. He's going to chain him up, but now caught between the rock and a hard place. He's going to be able to throw out more crits as Alex Z might fall here. He doesn't have backup in the Silencer, or Scarlet Mage ulti is going to bring him down. In the end, a favorable trade for Ban Earthspirit. No, Alex Z, he's going to be brought down to the Necronomicon Warrior. Will he? One more swipe. 4 step away. The arrow, they need one more, and in the end, it's not going to happen. Nature's Prophet, no TP available for 9 seconds, and Alex Z survives, but will the top barracks be as lucky? The Forge Spirits are there, and I think for now, they'll survive. That fight could have gone completely differently if Ben Earthspirit killed the Ember Spirit to start things off. That Echo Slam, although a nice thought with all of the units around, I think the Chain Stun would have been more useful on the Ember Spirit. Had he caught him out inside the Echo Duration, or what's it called? Oh my goodness, Aftershock stun radius for the Nature's Prophet to hold him in place. That could have also gone in a different direction. But yeah, I think when you're fed the enemy's carry on a platter like that, you just go for it. But no, they're going to catch out Jubilee as well as Vestius, and Jubilee just blown to shreds as Earthshaker gets that kill. And too much damage coming out from this ES. He didn't even get the enchant totem off. Yeah, this is looking to be a very interesting game indeed, as Invoker as well as the Ember Spirit have a lot of farm under their belts with the Boots of Travel as well as the Cheese. Invoker right now is 6 slotted. He'll be able to pick up another item soon enough. But yeah, the Silencer is still deathless. This is amazing coming out from the Silencer. They just don't have a great way to jump him. Force F into Magic Missile as well as the Slop One. Well, speaking of that, Booger is going to eat a heck of a lot of damage. Now up to the high ground. Oh, the crit for 1,067 damage. Phantom Soyan. That's ridiculous to watch. Oh, poor Venge. It wouldn't have mattered if he got the crit or not, but still, style points for that one, buddy. As the Earthshaker, 2,400 gold. I'd love to see the data list next. Although we'll probably wait for buyback, because if he is caught out and they're inside their base, especially with the Boots of Travel already on Fendisoyan, that could be a pretty valuable thing for him to hold on to. Tutor Tower in mid looks like it's going to fall with the Enchant Totems doing decent damage to the towers as well. Nobody's really inbound to defend against that, but the Nature's Prophet doesn't give a darn, as him as well as Yuka are going to take down this melee barracks. They're going to be forced back, but the units are going to get it, and THD find a little bit of an opening where Ban Earthspirit are kind of caught with their pants down inside their base, and I don't know, they've been thoroughly pants as the barracks are completely done here on the top lane, and that's going to be a pretty significant advantage for THD, especially with the Nature's Prophet on your team, pushing up against that and fighting up against Jubilu here now. It's going to become all that much harder, as with the barracks in their favor, THD are sitting pretty, as even though they're down as far as kills are concerned, the map control is what matters at the end of the day. I talked about it last game, where even if THD weren't ahead in kills, they'd still be looking good. It's kind of the same situation here. They're looking fine. Their two carries are the ones that have their farm, and although their Vengeful Spirit, Enchantress, and Nature's Prophet don't have that much, they still have enough to be relevant. Scarith Mage, the big loser as far as net worth is concerned, but kind of expected. Just Arcane Boots and Force Staff on him. The graphs, still not a huge gold lead for either team. THG holding on to 5,000 experience. It's pretty much sat within this difference for the entirety of the game, and honestly, it's not really worth looking at this point. But if anybody's curious, it hasn't changed at all. The fights have been going fairly back and forth, but with that last one, THG are looking good, and they're looking for a pickoff. Ban Earthspirit potentially going to find out Laposa here, but Boogaroo also finds himself an Invis rune. Not going to pop the smoke, fortunately for him, but Ember Spirit sniffs something is funny and will back off. He's over back towards his side shop and drops himself a Remnant. Is he going to farm this? This could be the death of him, but Sand King is showing in lane, I think. And away with the Ember Spirit. He's juking through the trees. He's going to bump into a Juka. And, well, they look for the Burrow Strike, but it's not going to land on anything but creeps. The Duelable Silence is going out. Do they have anything to cancel us? No, they don't. He'll be able to get out to safety. Excuse me, Silence doesn't stop the teleport, and Laposa had enough tank in order to get through it. He had the BKB, and that was enough. As in mid, we're going to have an engagement. Eul's Scepter going to be used defensively on the Earthshaker. The Global Silence comes out yet again after the Refresher. Glacier is going to Burrow Strike up Yuka. The fight is very spread out as Jubilee going to be forced to TP out, and I'm looking for any sort of initiation. Fanasoy, and he wants it, but not going to be able to find it. Oh, he might jump in, as Ahsoka's also in the fray. As he jumps in, gets the Echo Slime onto two with follow-up Enchant Totem. He's going to go for who? As Vestius is going to be brought down. The Enchant Totem is not going to be necessary that time, as it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. A lot of ultimates being spent. They're looking for potentially more as the Invoker not in the best situation here. He might be clipped by a Fisher from long range, but worst case scenario has a cheese and Ghost Walk. Oh, Phantom Soin, he heals himself in the air, but Laposa should be able to get this kill fairly easy. It's going to be delayed for now, but one more Sleight of Fist, and Laposa cleaves down the poor Earthshaker, who's been doing so well up to this point. Inside the base, A-Love just taken a lot of beating from these Mega Melee creeps. It'll be interesting to see what the new models for those are going to be, but for now, it's going to be enough to beat down the Scarith Mage to 200 HP and force him to base. Silencer, 509 on Alex Z. I'm actually astonished that he's done this well. I was worried there for a bit when he was back at 104 oh so many minutes ago. But he's hitting pretty hard right now. 209 plus 40 plus the pure damage from those Glaives of Wisdom. With all of the int from the items he gets purely, he's doing a lot of damage. And then the 24, that's almost a free Mystic Staff for himself. When the BKBs are popped, however, he's not doing nearly as much. But still, Alex Z, he's been playing well, although a little bit reserved in the early game with his globals. I'd like to take a look at chat, although it is going to be quite delayed. And, well, just a quick one. Sorry I couldn't stick around. If I had a co-caster, I'd love to read what you're saying, as we have some decent viewers as well as chat activity going on right now. Invoker sitting on 5,300 gold. His next item, I'm going to place my bet on Scythe of Vice for him, sitting around over by the secret shop, waiting for Roshan, although it's going to be quite some time before it comes back up. Less than a minute, but more than 30 seconds, about 40 or so. Although the exact time will come up. every so often on the side. Vengeful Spirit still hasn't picked up any significant farm after the 4 staff. The Staff of Wizardry is in her inventory. What that is, I don't know. I don't know, as far as Staff of Wizardry items are concerned, I'd love to see Yule's on her as well. Not sure if we have any other ones in the game except for the Earthshaker. They're going to go on to Glacius. Glacius caught out. He is invised up, but Sunstrike is going to be Juke the Orchid, however, not so lucky. He doesn't have Burrow Strike to get out of here. He's silenced up with the Orchid, now with the Cleaves. That's going to be a lost gem as well. And, well, picked up by the Nature's Prophet, and a big one for THG. Usually a pick-off on one of your sports isn't that big of a deal, but with the high level of the Sand King at level 21 on him, as well as just the stage of the game that we're at, as well as losing a gem. A big pick-off for THG, though it might not look for it. It is going to secure themselves Roshan. Vesti is tanking this one up on the front lines, as he does have the 4 points in Untouchable. Roshan is trying to reach that Enchantress, but just can't do it. And the rest of the team is going to tear him apart. No Necronomicon necessary, as that's going to be another Aegis and another Cheese going the way of THG. Cheese Kaz rolling on the floor. It's going to go the way of the Enchantress. I think that's a pretty solid choice. As far as Cheese Carrier, she's decently tanky, with the mechanism as well as the stat items that she has on top of the BKB, and she dishes out quite a lot of damage, especially when you're talking about a Silencer with no BKB of his own. Vengeful Spirit might get caught out here, but Booker is going to be just fine. We're waiting for THG to push down bottom. They're currently split up, but Nature's Prophet can join at the drop of a hat. Vengeful Spirit and Enchantress not as quickly. No boots of travel on them, so they'll start working their way down to join the rest of their team. Top lane is going to naturally push in, but with the Nature's Prophet continuing the pushing power, it's going to be very hard for them to deal with. Alexi is going to be able to get a little bit of farm for this, but not that much. And if you actually add up the numbers for Silencer's glaives, that is pretty much hitting like an OD, and it's only going to get worse from here on out, especially as the BKB on the Ember Spirit is going to wane, as well as the one in Invoker and Enchantress. For now, it's still looking pretty good for them. Double Battle Fury online for me. He's going to get a decent cleave on Hisoka as well as Glacius. Going to need some corrosive skin damage for his trouble, but dropping Hisoka down to half is no small challenge. That was just one sleight of fist through there. The push continues, coming out from THD, and it's slow and steady coming out from them. I kind of said this earlier on that we had the potential to go late, and THG are going to make that happen. It is now 45 minutes, and we are going to have the Sight Device completed on the Invoker to top up his BKB Necronomicon. For all intents and purposes, he is getting close to that 6-slotted territory. He has the cheese on his person as well. They didn't give the Aegis to him this time. It is on the Ember Spirit, I think, and indeed it is. Sunstrike, not going to be on the mark. Invoker, not going to miss or hit that one. Even if he did, Earthshaker Yulesed himself up in the air. I think he heard the sound and wanted none of that. That would have been devastating. They're going to send the Forge Spirits in to lead the charge, and Glacius is going to eat one sleight of fist. Their Forge Spirits are not going to last that long. Neither are the creeps. The Sandstorm going to be enough wave clear here, and I think they're going to need to commit a little bit harder. But for now, it's just kind of waiting game as the crits are also clearing out the creep wave instantly. So they just let the Nature's Prophet do his work in mid. And now Yuka also going to pop his head here. They jump forward to Glacius. He might get caught out here for now. They're not going to throw any size. And they're just focused on summoning these minions. Glacius, he's not in the greatest positioning here. They don't have the enough kills or enough damage to get the kill here with just the Nature's Prophet. But if the Invoker jumps in, Yuka, he's going to get Burrow Struck up here. He walked a little too far forward. Now with the Sky with Mage ulti, he's going to be forced to pop the BKB to avoid a lot of that damage. Now Ghost Walk in. Yuka's still in the back lines of that fight and could join in as Glacius is going to get scythed up. Enchant Totem coming up from the Earthshakers. They want to keep it down on bottom. I hear a Viper Strike going out towards these heroes. A nice visual result of the Global Silence is going to stop them for now. The BKB is available from the Ember Spirit. It looks like he's going to use it before he gets the Aegis popped, and now he's going to be able to jump towards the side. He is silenced. I'm not sure if that was avoided. I think he is still silenced from the Silencer. Now jump forward by Glacius. Not going to land on Vestius as he does have the BKB as well as the cheese and Laposa. Still staying strong. Buyback coming up from the Nature's Prophet. It might be Alexi's first death. Will they be able to chase him down? They're going to be slowed up and the Epicenter comes through. Oh no, that wasn't the Epicenter. Oh my goodness, it's the Cleaves are going to be enough to get the kill onto the Viper as well as the Sky with Mage. Instant buyback from the Viper and all the Tided Fist is the 4 staff away from the Silencer. That's his first death of the game, and now the Gem of True Sight dropped by the Nature's Prophet on the backlines. I think they'll be able to recover that one as Phantom swinging caught between a rock and a hard place. And that rock is going to be the Ember Spirit as well as hard place being the Enchantress. Laposa is actually going to lose his Aegis here, but once he comes back, he's going to come out with a vengeance. Lots of damage coming out. He's up on the high ground. They're going to lose his tank as well. Buyback to Lore coming out from Banner Spirit. The Deafening Blast Mirror coming going to do nothing, but Zona Hisoka away from the Vengeful Spirit, so that's going to be a decent one for them. Oh no, the dream is real for Earthshaker to get a huge crit on one of these supports, but Right now, I don't think they have what's left in the tank in order to combat against this. They have no buybacks on their side. And Earthshaker, he can drop fissures and be annoying, but that's it. I think this is going to be 2 lanes of Rax at least going the way of THD. They might back off after that, but slowly but surely going to whittle down, and I don't think they need to. Earthspirit going to at least take the tier 3 tower in mid, as the bottom lane is going to fall to the rest of his comrades, and now they rotate towards mid, and THD, I think they just secured out this game, to be honest, is now chasing Earthshaker back in the base. They want this kill. Scar the Mage also not looking too healthy. He's going to try to go on this Invoker, potentially. He's still healing up. He has the buyback and might want to put it to good use. If he gets a crit, that could be a kill, but yeah, Earthspirit working on the mid lane of Raxa. This is going to be Mega Creeps as soon as they get the last range barracks. I think that's it, but oh, he's going in Phantom Swing. There's going to be a defensive swap, and Booger is going to eat the brunt of that damage. Coming out, the Yule Scepter is going to be defensively, but the Tornado going to bring the Earthshaker back in the air as well. 4 step away. He's trying to make it out alive, but with the gold step, I don't think he's going anywhere. And crit, for a good measure, they're going to be able to get that kill, and I think that's GG. That's their buyback, dieback coming out from the Earthshaker, and well, it looks like they're going to let the base actually die for this one, but no, Phantom Swing is going to call it as Earthspirit might looking for his glory days as Alex, he's going to pop the BKB, and he's striking so darn hard on Lapoza, cleans up that kill before the game actually ends, but in the end, it's not going to matter as he's also going to die, and the Ancient is going to explode one way or another. Looks like we're going to let this go the natural way as creeps are coming through. It's going to be delayed a little bit more by Glacius, but Glacius is just going to get ripped to shreds here as the Ancient is going to explode. Well, it's been a pretty fun series to watch, although THG, their map control and pressure around the map as well as the rotation just felt on a little bit of a different level than no Earthspirit. For a while there, I was hoping that Phantom Swing would be able to carry this through as the Earthshaker. He had one really awesome Echo Slam, the instant triple kill coming out from him. But that's going to round us out. 2-0 victory for the House is down, and that's also going to round us out here on HeflaTV 2. No more Dota here. For tonight, I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep. My voice is getting pretty tired, as am I. But thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow us and like the cast, you can follow us on HeflaTV, on YouTube, on Twitter and Facebook. YouTube is where you can find the VODs. They'll be uploaded later, and they'll be at youtube.com/HeflaMoke. If you want to go ahead and check those out and share the games with your friends, I highly recommend watching that Meepo game if you missed it on the game 1. Jubilu's Meepo is a pleasure to watch, and it was quite fun. But that said, that is going to round us out. I've been Grandis V, your caster here on HeflaTV 2. Thanks for watching, and GG to both teams. Hope to see you soon, but that's it for now.